everybody, and welcome to the Foundation First Fitness Show. This is episode 31. You're with Bob Owen, and today we are going to talk about the 3 things that individuals do wrong most in the gym. So I first want to start off by apologizing because I know that last week or the week after, some kind of combination of those, I was supposed to put out an episode. It never got put out. I fell behind a little bit. I had a rough couple of weeks there. I basically ended up going to 3 weddings in 6 days, 7 days, something like that. And I completely lost my voice. So I didn't want to kind of talk with no voice and kind of a raspy, rough voice that, you guys are basically going to be listening to for 13 seconds and be like, all right, I can't do this anymore. And so I decided, let me just put this off for a little bit. Let me get myself back. Let me get that voice back. Let me get myself back up to 100% and then punch another one out. And unfortunately now I just got hit with like a crazy allergy spell where we've got like ragweed going crazy right now in Montreal. So it's been a real battle the last couple of days, but I've managed to kind of resolve the issue a little bit, or found like a little window where it hasn't been bugging me that much. So I'm trying to get this out as soon as I can so that we can so that if it does come up in a couple of hours, I'll at least got something done, because I don't know when this ragweed's going to go down, but it has been pretty high for the last couple of days. So anyway, let's get right into it. The first thing that I see individuals do wrong in the gym, and these are not the only 3. There's a bunch of things, and this is not saying that everyone does these and you guys are morons for doing it. It's just these 3 things that I see that are most commonly done wrong. And I think that a lot of people, or a lot of individuals that are going into the gym, especially now, it's September. Well, we're getting into September. It's the end of August, and this is a big time for individuals to jump back into the gym, get back into the routine. Kids are gone to school. Summer's basically done. All the vacations are done. Everyone's come back from the August vacations, and everyone's back in it at the gym. And this is the time where a lot of individuals are going to start looking for that program or that kind of routine that they want to follow that's going to help them get to their goals, whether it be weight loss, muscle gain, or just basically get back into shape. And these 3 things, I think, are some of the most commonly seen ones, or commonly seen for me by individuals that are getting back into it. The first thing is online programs. Now, what I mean by online programs, it's very important that we understand that, and I distinguish between the 2. Online programs doesn't mean you having a trainer that is online that's sending you programs. Online trainer means online program means you go online, you search through a library, a directory of workouts, and you literally just pull one right out of there and start doing that. Now, this is not such a bad thing for an individual like an athlete but an individual who is experienced and who really understands, all the movements, who understands what they want and has a very strong understanding of their limitations, and can really look at a program and kind of see that program and be like, oh, this is not too bad. This is a pretty decent thing to do. And I think that if you were that person, it's not a bad situation. But for a lot of you, for many of us, that's not the case. And that's what I'm going to try to get at today. A lot of individuals will jump into this and grab a program, and the first thing they're going to do is think it's okay, grab it, go do it. The problem is that these programs have probably been tossed around a million times. And to really understand the experience level that'll be needed for that really takes someone who's trained and who's understanding, who has experience doing them. And what will end up happening with a lot of individuals who will do that is they'll either not be able to get through the workout at all because it'll be too hard, or B, they'll do it one time, wake up the next morning, literally not be able to move, and never want to go back to the gym because their entire thought process is, every time I go to the gym, I'm getting hurt. They're not thinking, every time I go to the gym, I'm getting the wrong program and getting something that's not made for me, thus I'm getting hurt. That's why I would tell you, as much as possible, either join a group class that has tiers in terms of experience. So basically they'll have kind of a breakdown of, if you're experienced, go in this group. If you're not experienced, go here. If you're moderately experienced, go here. And they'll have different levels. So that way you can pick the best level for you that's going to help you stay on track longer. If not, get yourself a personal trainer, someone who has experience, someone who either you've seen at that gym work out before, if you are still going to a gym, or if you're not, ask around, spend a week at the gym, do light stuff, and then maybe ask around, see what you see what comes up from individuals, pay attention to the trainers who are out there, see who you want to work with, see what kind of stuff they do. And that way you'll be able to at least determine which person to go with. And at the same time, when you do get to that person, make sure that there is some evaluation process going on. Are they evaluating your skill set? Are they evaluating your level of expertise? Are they blindly just throwing exercises at you? That's a really important thing. So you want to make sure that you're getting something that's tailored for your experience level, because in terms of goals, as I mentioned before, if we really pull everything back and we say, where are we and what is our goal? It really comes down to calories in, calories out. If you can balance those two things, if you can understand that concept and understand that balance, you'll be fine. If not, you're going to consistently run into struggles. And that's where a lot of this happens, is individuals go on to this online program and think that, they're able to do it, and they don't worry about all the other factors that are coming into play. So I would tell you, get a specific online program, get a specific program for you. And if you are going online to get a program from a trainer, that is not a bad idea. Make sure that that person is asking you the right questions. They're asking you about your experience level. They're tailoring a program for you. You can tell, it's very obvious. They're not asking you to do 6 million exercise on your first day. They're giving you a little bit of things. They're explaining that they want to ramp you up slowly. And in that case, you'll be fine. The second thing that I see commonly happen, and this really comes back into play with a lot of my athletes, and this is something that I discuss with my athletes all the time. Understanding the fundamentals and understanding the basics, the tried and true exercises, is the only way to go. If you can understand the basics, if you master the fundamentals, everything else will play itself out. It doesn't matter if you're a pro athlete, if you're not a pro athlete. Understanding the basics and understanding the fundamentals is the fastest way for you to be able to take on other more challenging exercises with ease and perform them at high levels. Here's what I mean by that. Take an exercise like a lunge, a very simple exercise. Doesn't require a lot of experience to really pull off. It does, but it really doesn't. Doesn't take a lot of experience to pull off. But just that lunge alone can lead you to do so many other exercises if you're able to master it to that level. So with a lot of my individuals, with a lot of my clients, with a lot of my athletes, I really always come back to the tried and true, the exercises, the staple exercises that I really have in a lot of my programs, the squats, the lunges, the step-ups, the push-ups, the pull-ups. Those are the exercises I always rely on to help my clients, or those are the benchmark exercises I rely on to get my clients to a certain level to be able to do other more fun activities. And I'm always working on them. I'm always trying to improve them. They're the fundamentals, they're the base. They make everything else move better. So that brings me to the actual second thing that a lot of individuals do, is not so much the basics, but it is the machines. When we talk about basics and we talk about fundamentals, a lot of individuals jump into machine exercises. That's the consensus. That's what's thought. And this is not something that's uncommon. A lot of gyms that I've seen operate under that same belief. They think that if you're first coming into the gym, do not do any free weight exercises, do not do any barbell exercises, do not do any body weight exercises. The first thing you need to do is machines. It's the fastest way to get some muscle growth. There's less risk of injury. There's less room for error. And yes, while all of that is to some extent probably a little true, it really is superficially, it's probably a little true. There's still some play, but I'll make an argument against that right now that basically just squashes that all those points right there. The first thing is, when you do any movement, you need three things. You need A, stability, B, strength, and C, flexibility. A lot of people say mobility, but it's actually flexibility. Mobility is a component of all three, so it doesn't really make any sense. To be mobile enough to perform an exercise, you need those three things: flexibility, stability, and strength. Now, when you are using a machine, let's say you're using a leg press machine, you get strength, right? Because you're moving against resistance. Flexibility to some extent, because it depends on the level of flexibility you have, yada, yada, yada. But you do not get any stability. Unfortunately, because your body is rested on something and there's no free weight, there's no free movement of that weight, you do not get any stability. And stability is actually one of the number one reasons for injury. It's the inability to control your body through movement. If you're not able to stabilize a joint, if you're not able to stabilize your joint while you're trying to move heavy resistance, heavy or light resistance, doesn't really matter, your likelihood of injury goes up. Now, what ends up happening with a lot of these situations is a lot of individuals will go onto these machines, will crank up the weight, increase their strength, not their stability, and their flexibility may flip-flop around in there depending on if they're doing stretching or yada, yada, whatever. And then they'll take all that experience, take everything that they just gained, go to do a lunge, go to do a squat, and their first inclination is, I can handle more weight. Yes, your muscle is going to be able to handle more weight because the resistance won't be high enough, so they won't feel that same kind of burning sensation, the working sensation in their muscles because the weight's too light. But what'll happen is they won't be stable enough to handle that weight. So your risk of injury goes up later on. Yeah, if you're using a machine, your risk of injury goes down. You're not really doing anything. You're just pushing against light weight. But if you're taking that experience and throwing that into, stability exercises afterwards, yeah, your risk of injury just shot through the roof because you're a lot stronger than you are stable, right? That's the concept that we have to understand. Now, I'm not saying machines are bad. What I'm saying is that when you are a beginner, when you have to select and you have to pick and choose, because your limitations and your ability to perform long workouts is not really there, you need to select the best exercises for you, and that's going to be basic free weights, barbells, stability, body weight, things like that. Elastics, cables, all that kind of stuff. Those are going to be your best options that are going to give you the best likelihood of not getting hurt and progressing and being able to build on that and move on with other exercises and do other exercises that are a little bit more challenging. Leading me into number 3, the third thing I usually see individuals. It's because I just read 5-day. That's why I went there. The thing that individuals do most often, that is most often going to be one of the biggest mistakes they do, is they go too hard, too fast. I've spoken about this before. It's something I'm really passionate about. I tell everyone, as much as we want to be motivated in the night before, we're motivated and our motivation's always super, super, super high, and then gradually starts dipping afterwards. Individuals don't realize that that's actually happening, that you're really motivated at the beginning and then it starts dying down. What I like to do is I like to tell people, when you're at your peak motivation, what's your motivation at? Well, I'd like to go to the gym 5-6 days a week. Okay, good. Let's do half that. Let's do 3 days a week, because I know that's where you're going to end up. But the problem is that if you go 5 days a week and then you come to 3 days a week, your first thought in your brain is, oh, I already lost half my days. It's too long. I might as well just give up. 3 days is not enough because I needed to go 5 and 6. So if you already start with 3, well, then chances are you're not going to go down because you're almost convinced that you need to do 5 and 6. So if I tell you to just do 3, maybe 4, you're probably going to be more like, oh, really? That's all I need? Yeah, that's all you need. Stick with that. And if we want to take more, you can take more. Okay, so they come and do that. They start realizing that it's a consistency thing and it's a long game, not a short game. And they start getting better results. Yes, the results you want are going to be short-term results that are going to be desired, but working out is a long game process. You will get gains, you will get results pretty soon, but overall working out is a long process. It's a long-term thing. You're playing the long game. If you understand and if you can wrap your head around that, this 5-day situation, 5 to 6 days right out of the gate, will not happen. The second thing that will happen with this 5-day kind of burst right out of the gates is that you end up lining yourself up for injury because your body's not really able to handle it. We go into these exercises, we go into these workouts, and we try to do 5 days. By the 5th, 6th day, if you're not used to working out, that 6th day is not going to be so great. You're going to be barely hanging on. And this is not to say that 5 and 6 day workouts aren't good for anybody. For an experienced lifter, sure, 5, 6 days, 7 days, doesn't really matter. If you want to take 1 day off every 2 weeks, cool, do whatever you want. But in terms of being a newcomer to the gym, this is going to be way too much. Your body can't handle all that. It isn't used to it, so you need to ramp that up slowly. You need to also keep the intensity low and basically the consistency of it high. So keep a low intensity, keep the consistency high. Make sure this is something you do on a regular basis. That's going to be more likely to stick. So 5 days is not necessarily wrong. You can do 5 days at the beginning, but you're going to have to really understand that it's going to be 5 days of maybe 20 to 30 minute workouts, not 5 days of 1 hour workouts. If you want to do 1 hour workouts, 1.5 hour workouts, because you want to do a lot in those days and you don't want to just keep coming for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sure, do 3 days though. Start light, work your way up, ramp it up slowly. The results will come. As I mentioned, it's a consistency and it's a long game thing. If you can wrap your head around those concepts, this will be a breeze for you. This September will be a breeze for you, I promise. So those are the 3 things that I see most commonly as mistakes. As I mentioned before, it's not because I think that these are the 3 that everyone's doing. These are the 3 that I see done most often. And they're probably the ones that I think that will have the largest impact on your September return to the gym. So if you guys have any questions, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. You guys know how to leave a comment there. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And if you have a question for some of our Q&A sessions, send me an email. You guys can get my email. It's in the description when you click it. It's also in this description here on YouTube when you click it. So if you guys shoot me a question, I will do my best to get that answered. I've got a couple of questions lined up for next episode. And also I will be doing a couple of podcasts with some individuals that I know, some other trainers, some other strength coaches, and getting an idea. I'm going to be getting some ideas on what to discuss with them, and then I'll put them up on my Instagram page. So you can find me on Instagram at Babakowen. That's at BABAKOWEN. And I will be posting a story a couple of days before to get some questions from you guys. So pay attention to that and shoot me your questions when you see that post. If not, just shoot me them earlier. Not a problem. Until the next time, guys, keep building that foundation and have yourselves a great rest of your day.